Yo, what's up guys, welcome back to another video. This is a reaction to Hurricane Milton's storm surge slams small towns as Tampa is spared. From what I've seen is this a lot of small towns, I don't know if they're around Tampa or just throughout Florida, in the path of the hurricane, got the brunt of, I guess, what was expected. And I guess based off this, Tampa didn't get hit as hard as maybe previously predicted, which thankfully that's the case, because you think about the damage that could be caused in a major city, it's not what you want to imagine. But firstly, links will be in the description to this channel, where you can obviously find this guy's channel and this video, because he's, I think from what I saw previously, he stayed here in preparation for this storm, and he then documents what's happened, and he's done this for previous storms as well. So he deserves people to go to a channel from this, because he's obviously someone who's dedicated to these types of topics. I'm also going to react to this one here because I haven't seen a lot of the information around this. I've seen bits here and there, and I know it obviously, a storm as brutal as it's going to be, it's going to cause a lot of chaos. But I think thankfully it didn't get as bad as maybe previously imagined, or the previous predictions, although I could be wrong. I've been very busy recently, so I've not been able to see too much about it. But yeah, this is going to be me seeing really for the first time the damage that was caused, because in the last video it didn't really show that much damage. It was literally just as it had happened, so it was showing like the flooding and this and that, but it didn't have any information of what truly took place. But if you're someone who was affected by this, obviously prayers are with you. Hopefully you managed to get through unscathed. You've, like, I don't know, obviously loss of life is the worst case scenario. Hopefully that didn't happen. Hopefully you've still got your home intact and all this sort of stuff. But yeah, if you did experience Hurricane Milton, let me know what it was like for you personally. But yeah, we're going to check this out and see this video. Already we're seeing a house completely torn to shreds, or ripped to shreds. That is mad how this house is completely gone, but then the other ones around it are like near or less still standing.
Two-punch is a cliche, but when it's Hurricanes Helene and Milton, it's a knockout. South of Tampa, 75 miles, residents of towns like Minnesota Key and Grove City, who thought they'd already survived the worst storm of their lives, learned worse has no limit.
That was Helene.
Okay.
And then I don't have my marker, got floated away, so I can't. But the black tape is where this one is, this Milton.
Wow.
Oh, it was a lot higher.
Helene, it ruined your insulation underneath, okay, and your vapor barrier, and obviously the particle board, this kind of stuff, the original flooring.
Yeah.
And then your top flooring, okay?
Yeah.
It ruined that. So I said, well, it's
man.
fixable. We'll go put more money in it. But now it's like
Destroyed.
you got to strip it right to the walls and completely rebuild the whole thing inside.
But after Hurricane Milton, and this
Horrible.
old Florida trailer park still standing on its foundation isn't just luck, it's a luxury.
Harry's trailer, see his front porch, that cement,
That's the front porch.
that was like mine, kinda.
Yeah.
His trailer was all the way over there, on that side, up against that.
And it was moved how many
there.
feet?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Wow. 50 feet?
Yeah.
And this is from Milton,
Milton, yes.
not
yes.
Helene.
No, not Helene.
It was still standing from Helene over
Yeah.
there.
There's no other way to describe it but significant, the storm surge from Hurricane Milton. This was the front porch of this home that
Oh
was
my
pushed
days.
at least 50 feet into the neighbor's house. Just next door, that house caught on fire overnight. Everywhere, homes are a total loss here. And before Hurricane Helene, people who live here say they'd never seen water inside their home before.
It was
Jesus
my
Christ.
wife's grandparents put it here, and then my wife's parents took it over, and they owned it since then, and they passed, and we acquired it, and been in the family for 50 years almost. And now it's gone.
That is so sad.
And this, of course, is the carport,
Yep.
which, you know, is history. Oh, the carport. What I built stayed. What was here,
Yeah. This frame here. Yep.
this was our lanai. This was our lanai, and I mean our kitchen kitchen was there in the living room, and you know, this is what we got now.
Just completely gone. That is so crazy. Imagine that,
So
man.
many people, they see the hurricanes and they watch the videos, they see the repeated hurricanes, and they say, who lives in Florida? Why do you live here? I mean, I guess I can guess just by looking right there.
There you go. You know,
Hurricanes like Milton, they don't just rip apart homes. They unravel the threads of entire communities, friendships, neighbors, the shared history of a place. Gone in a
Holy
night,
shit.
scattered like debris.
That's going to be a question for everybody. I
Look at all
mean,
the rubbish.
unfortunately,
What the heck? I guess this is just after it passed, right? So it's all still just I guess sitting where it had all been moved to.
a lot of the renters around here are going to rent to seasonal people and not to the actual residents. So I don't know where we're all going to go.
We have a new high water mark in this neighborhood of Inglewood.
Wow. Wait, is that where it reached? That is absolutely insanity.
We have a new high water mark in this neighborhood of Inglewood. It's close to the bridge to go out to Minnesota Key. It's about 5.5 feet. It appears just from the outside of these homes. And what is just incredibly sad, everyone in this neighborhood.
Look at the damage, just getting the first view of like the road, the sort of the street side view. That is mental. Holy shit.
Just suffered through catastrophic storm surge from Hurricane Helene 2 weeks ago, and you can see just how much work was done to demolish and remove and pile up to try and start that rebuilding process, and then everything has just completely started over. It's a mess. Everything's been scattered, lifted, tossed around.
Everything's all over the place now. I mean, none of this shit is mine. Their stuff is mine, and that car's toast, and now they can't even tow it out of here.
Was this
I don't
bad
even know how
before?
where to start to get this stuff cleaned up now. You know, you can't even walk around here. The house was under rehab, and now they can't even get in here to work.
So everything you had worked so hard to do over the last week and a half, it's gone.
Yes, and even worse, a lot worse. I mean, this stuff wasn't here. You can't even get to the job site now.
How long have you lived here?
25 years. First time, the last one, Helene, was the first time it's ever been wet.
Fucking hell, imagine that. He's been there for 25 years. It's never ever got anywhere close to Helene. And then in the space of 2 weeks, you've had like a repeat of that. That is crazy to me.
And then this came along. I have no idea how high the water got last night. But see, all this stuff floated all over the place. It got pretty high.
We have stuff in our yard. I don't even know where it belongs because it's people's debris from the last storm that just never got picked up.
And that's obviously a frustration.
No, I don't think it would have been this bad if they would have picked it all up.
Flipping.
The headlines love to focus on the wind, how it rips apart both homes and domes. But the real destruction,
Oh shit.
that was south of the bay, south of where Milton made landfall. Down there, the water always follows. And when it does, it swallows everything in its path.
Millions of you have tuned into my channel recently for my on-the-ground real coverage of these hurricanes, but I can't cover it all. So it's why I'm partnering with...
I just want to see. He goes back a little bit. So this is the. I mean, it's all just torn to shreds, isn't it? Is there smoke?
who have tuned into my channel
Is there smoke here?
recently for my on-the-ground real coverage of these hurricanes, but I
Maybe burning stuff. I don't know. He's getting the money as well deserved, bro. This guy has stayed here throughout this stuff. He's given the best possible coverage. Like, look, I've done reactions to news channels and different videos. From what I've seen so far, this guy's coverage on these topics is second to none, and he really just goes in depth and shows how the average person is really affected by this stuff. Like, the news will just have a reporter sort of repeating news and things that have already been shared. This guy's really out there exploring and showing people's real pain.
please
So
go to
happy for him, man. Get your money, bro.
groundnews.com/JPET, or you can scan this QR code. If you subscribe through my link so they know that I sent you, you can get 40% off unlimited access.
Was this the storm surge? Oh my days. This image is crazy, man. That is mad. This is like normally just at the average street, and it's literally just been turned into a river. I mean, that is mental. It's like flowing and everything. How can it flood so much?
Devastation. Everything is wrecked.
The road's gone.
I mean, I've not seen this ever. I've been here a long, long time. It's going to be a difficult recovery for us here. There's houses in the road. There's buildings in the road. Everything's in the road.
Absolutely fucking crazy. That is so mad. Like, the thing is, seeing this is crazy. Like, is insane. Like, but because I've done reactions to this stuff quite a lot recently, it's sort of becoming just, I'm just sort of not getting used to it, but it's just crazy to me how often these sorts, like how common these sorts of images really are. A house just in the middle of your street. How insane is that? Absolutely mad.
There's buildings in the road. Everything's in the road. Like, it's just devastating. It's crazy how wild this is.
They just bought this one last year because they had a place across Placida that Ian wiped out.
Oh,
so they bought this.
So Ian wiped out the other place.
Ian wiped out their place across the street. This came up for sale because the lady had passed, who was here forever. She passed, and Bobby and Wendy bought it, and they've redid it. They've done a lot of work in it, Bobby has.
But they've lost 2 homes to 2 hurricanes in 2 years.
Yes.
One thing is clear. The infrastructure, the way it currently exists in many spots here along Florida's west coast, is going to have to change dramatically just after the last 2 weeks and the hurricanes and what those storms have done.
I think it was about as bad as we could have expected it still. I mean, I don't know if you've seen where the crane fell, but it knocked into the Tampa Bay Times.
Oh, a crane fell. Bloody hell. I mean, cranes are huge. They can fall any direction and fall on anything. Bloody hell. When I said at the start of this video, I feel like it didn't end up being as bad as I think initially it was before. I don't think that's actually the case. I think maybe just because it didn't hit Tampa as hard as maybe first thought, it didn't cause the chaos in the city there. But then still, the towns that it devastated got, as to what I'm seeing, absolutely annihilated. Like they've literally just been wiped out.
It knocked into the Tampa Bay Times building.
We have a saying in the news business, we just want to cover the news. We don't want to be a part of it. Well, unfortunately, in this case, the Tampa Bay Times couldn't escape it because a crane that was helping to build a skyscraper collapsed in the winds from Hurricane Milton. And it collapsed directly into the Tampa Bay Times building.
Oh, shit.
This is scary. I didn't even really think about the cranes at all till I saw we got notices on our phones, and my buddy ended up, he lives right by a different crane, like a couple streets down, and ended.
Oh, shit. Oh, this is mental. Also, Tampa's still got hit. It just wasn't as bad as maybe first thought in the city.
Ended up coming to stay with us, but this didn't even cross my mind, and wow.
Yeah, I literally have a crane behind my house, and was very curious about the rating of the wind rating of that, and so luckily yesterday afternoon we got a notice.
How do they even go about clearing this up? I mean, it's a bloody crane. How much is that even going to weigh?
On our door, but that was the biggest scare. I wasn't really worried because like the street's at like 40-something feet. My apartment, second floor, is at 50-something feet, but that crane was the only real fear.
All right, we made it back over to downtown Tampa. I'm going to go check in on Jay, Lieutenant Dan. He's moved his boat.
Oh, I forgot about this guy.
As promised, after introducing you guys to Jay, otherwise known lovingly as Lieutenant Dan, he stayed in his sailboat He made it. He's likely, as he said the other day, he's going to sleep out Milton, and it appears he is asleep. Going into it, there was a lot of, you know, I mean, you were worried about having to evacuate, even though because of the storm surge and stuff. That didn't quite pan out. Was this a hurricane that lived up to your expectations in terms of, like, you know what, this was crazy, or did it thankfully spare us?
I think it thankfully spared us. I think a lot of us got very, very lucky. Yeah, I was ready for the worst, and the worst didn't happen, which I'm really grateful for.
Mere miles, the difference in devastation from
Bloody, look at this image, man.
Hurricane Milton.
Like I said, links in the description will be to this video if you want to see it, and then from that you can find his channel out, because this guy shows all kinds of stuff. Now this is another reaction, just I guess to an updated sort of showing of like the news coverage, not the news coverage, sorry, like an update on what's happened. And yeah, I guess as it says here, Milton death toll rises, search continues in areas hit by tornadoes and flooding. I mean, look at the flooding here, bloody hell.
With floodwaters rising to dangerous levels.
Come over here, sir. You got to come.
Let me just go. 17 flipping
Tonight,
hell.
urgent rescues near Tampa.
I think the saving grace of this was the fact that it didn't go through the US again, because I think because it went across Florida. Obviously, the areas that hit were affected massively, but if it went through the US, like the one previously, I feel like the damage then would have been absolutely horrifying.
Sheriff's deputies carrying this 91-year-old woman to safety after her home was surrounded by water.
This looks like a boat ramp.
What is that?
This is an entrance into a neighborhood. There's cars underwater. Some homes are completely underwater. All you see is the apex of the house.
Wow.
Among those rescued, 135 disabled elderly residents who'd evacuated to this area, while on the opposite coast in Port Orange.
It looked like we were in the middle of a lake. Like there was water in every direction, as far as you could see.
Officials say hundreds of people have been rescued since Hurricane Milton roared ashore Wednesday night. The death toll from the storm has now risen to at least 17. More than 2 million homes and businesses remain without power.
Jesus Christ.
Even gas is still hard to find, with long lines at stations that have it. And some of the hardest hit communities are inaccessible.
This little stretch of land, there's a bay right here. On the other side, you can see Manasota Key. There is incredibly extensive damage there. Residents just want to get over and see what shape their property is in. It's the one thing they can't do right now.
With feet of sand and debris and crews trying to restore electricity, Charlotte County officials tell us it's not safe for anyone to be there right now.
It's numbing. It's been numb for the last 2 weeks.
Peter Hageman and Rod Nybert both live on the Key with their families.
Oh my days, look at the damage here.
And rent properties to vacationers.
This is everything I have in the world. So to lose all that, I lose my retirement, I lose my business, I lose my income, I lose my house. So
your entire life savings is wrapped up in those homes.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh,
so many lives upended.
Bro, the devastation in him, man. He is absolutely that is so fucking sad.
Is that not even your refrigerator in the water over your shoulder?
No, to be honest with you, most of this is not ours.
Like Charlotte Sow, whose restaurant Landy's has been hit by hurricanes 3 times in 5 years. She says she's committed to recovering and reopening again.
We just keep going, you know, we've been through 3 of these and a pandemic. We just keep coming back.
And Sam, we're 2 days on now, and this flood threat is not over.
Wait, what? Wait, so the flooding could get worse still?
Oh, absolutely not, Lester. Right now, rivers that are at or above major flood stage, residents living nearby need to prepare to evacuate at any time. For so many communities, it's 48 to 72 hours more of standing by. Lester?
Okay, Sam Brock, thank you.
Jesus.
Some of Milton's worst destruction wasn't from the hurricane itself, but from the outbreak of tornadoes it spawned, including a strong twister in Fort Pierce on the East Coast.
Sorry?
Stephanie Gosk is there for us tonight.
Wait, what? So more tornadoes spawned from the hurricane? How is... Oh, fucking hell, man.
Tonight in the Spanish Lakes retirement community,
Ow.
they are still searching through shredded mobile homes looking for victims.
We're yelling out, looking for signs of life. We have dogs out there sniffing.
The residents here were braced for Hurricane Milton. What they got were tornadoes.
Authorities are keeping...
Bro, what? Look at the size. Oh my god.
For tornadoes.
Authorities are keeping the public out while they're searching, but from this vantage point, you can see over the canal and into the neighborhood. That's a home on top of another home. And damage like that extends all the way down that street.
6 of the 17 people killed by Hurricane Milton lived in Spanish Lakes, and there is concern that number may go up. Among those who died, 66-year-old Debbie Kennedy.
I asked questions for hours. I tried to get people to go over there and look for
her daughter Brandy eventually getting the devastating news.
Nobody expected that type of event to happen, especially hours before the storm was even due to hit.
When the tornadoes ripped through Fort Pierce.
Oh, this shit is so sad, man. Bloody hell, there's so much to this. Look at this image, this is fucked.
The eye of Hurricane Milton hadn't even made landfall. According to a county spokesperson, in the span of just a couple of hours, 911 received nearly 1,000 calls.
It pulled it out, flew away.
Logan and Kylie Barbary hid in the bathroom with their 2 babies and their dogs while the outdoor patio was entirely ripped off.
It is the most terrifying experience I've ever had in my life.
And you have your babies there.
Yeah. And so to have them survive is just like, and us survive, like that's all I need.
Heartbroken now, she says, for the loss of life and the destruction in her hometown.
These things do get ripped from you and you aren't expecting that, you know.
In this hurricane, the most lethal punch came nowhere near landfall, and they didn't see it coming.
Stephanie Goss joining us now.
That is mad. So the tornadoes around it were generally like I don't know what level they were, but they seem pretty devastating, or very devastating. Major flooding continues in Florida as death toll rises. Oh, I was so wrong about what I said then. I didn't realize how it was actually...
With floodwater...
Actually, this is shocking.
Rising to dangerous levels.
Have I just seen all this? Oh yeah, I have seen all this. Well, there we go. I mean, damn, that is definitely shown how bad. Let's just see. Just what?
Good evening tonight from Florida, where Hurricane Milton has left a devastating path of destruction, and it was.
I was gonna skip through this one because.
The roof off of the
oh shit! Oh damn! Look at the baseball stadium. Just, I mean, it looks destroyed. Obviously, I feel like inside, I think it's probably gonna be okay. It looks flooded. Nah, actually, this stadium looks destroyed. Jesus.
Tropicana Stadium, home of the Tampa Bay Rays.
Oh my days.
First responders have been gathering in.
And what were people staying here?
In that stadium and were moved just before the hurricane blew in. A giant construction crane smashing onto an office building in downtown St. Petersburg, coming straight down. Tonight there had been hundreds of rescues from the storm surge and flooding. This 14-year-old boy actually rescued from the rising waters, clinging to debris. In Punta Gorda, boats carried by the storm surge left on lawns. Hurricane Milton also spawning 126 tornado warnings across a wide swath of the state, shattering Florida's record for tornado warnings issued in a single day. In the end, more than 3 dozen tornadoes reported on the ground, this giant twister right near Palm Beach. And here in Fort Pierce, violent tornadoes turned homes to splinters. I spoke with one couple trapped in their car. They had just pulled into their driveway when the tornado was suddenly right over them. Tonight here, the devastation across this state, the rescue efforts still underway at this hour, and the families who told me here, they are grateful they survived this.
Tonight here, millions across Florida are getting their first look at the deadly, catastrophic damage and widespread flooding caused by Hurricane Milton. Roaring ashore as a Category 3 hurricane, bringing powerful 120-mile-per-hour winds, heavy rain, and torrential flooding, making landfall in Sarasota County at 8:30 p.m. Eastern last night as we were on the air.
Hurricane Milton has just made landfall.
The winds howling.
I can tell you the winds have been extraordinary here. The rain coming in sideways. You can see it blowing here behind us.
Tonight, at least 10 dead from this storm, and that number is expected to grow.
Oh my God.
This evening, more than 3 million people in Florida are without power.
Oh, there it was!
transformers exploding, streetlights crashing, a tree coming down through the roof of this home. In downtown St. Petersburg, trees toppled by the hurricane. The roof of Tropicana Field, home of the Tampa Bay Rays, shredded, parts of the roof ripped off. It was supposed to be used as a shelter for 10,000 emergency workers. They were sent elsewhere just before the hurricane hit. Tonight, the view inside.
Oh my
debris
God.
scattered across the stadium. And not far from the stadium, a crane smashing into this building where the Tampa Bay Times is located.
We felt a huge bang, shook our building. You can see it right from across our window, and the crane was gone.
In North Fort Myers, a horrific sight in the rising waters.
That was a big alligator just bit.
What the fuck am I seeing? This is mad. A fucking alligator. Oh my god. Oh mate, this is like, I swear I saw a film a few years ago about like a flood and then there was like alligators in the water and shit. And don't get me wrong, that's definitely a film that's made to be the most extreme possible. But you're seeing here, there's literally that. Now you've got to imagine there's going to be people stuck in the floodwater and this and that. Mate, this is horrifying.
Right from across our window, and the crane was gone.
In North Fort Myers, a horrific sight in the rising
what the
waters.
Hell?
That was a big alligator just bit our tire.
An alligator emerging from the floodwaters, biting at this car's tires. Tonight, the massive search and rescue operation now underway. Orange County Fire Rescue waiting in waist-deep waters to rescue stranded residents. The Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office going door to door on boats and in high-water vehicles, rescuing trapped families. Tonight, they say they've rescued more than 725 people and counting. Among them, 135 residents from a senior living facility. And this 14-year-old boy floating on a piece of fence. And even before Hurricane Milton made landfall, the system spawning deadly tornadoes across Florida, all the way to the East Coast and across South.
Oh, these are some big-ass tornadoes, man.
Florida. These NOAA time-lapse satellite images as Milton barrels closer, showing intense lightning strikes across South Florida. There were at least 38 reported tornadoes, the most tornado warnings in a single day ever for Florida.
Look at that.
In Wellington, Florida, power lines flaring as a tornado rips across the road.
We need to go.
In Broward County, near Alligator Alley,
Watch out, watch out. Holy moly, it looks like it's turning back around.
these residents evacuating when all of a sudden their phone began receiving emergency tornado alerts. And then they see it.
It's like right there, babe.
And tonight from above, you can see the devastation. Across Martin and Palm Beach counties, homes destroyed. In Fort Pierce, large violent tornadoes hitting multiple communities. We met a mother and father, grateful to have survived this with their 4 children.
All the windows blew in, the doors were coming off their hinges.
Correct.
And did you guys just huddle with the kids?
We did. We did.
Karen and Roger Desir show us the X that authorities sprayed on their garage door.
This X on your garage door means they checked the house to make sure.
To check that we were alive.
And the kids are okay.
Yeah, they're okay.
They take us inside their home.
Glass shattered from here.
Many of the windows now shattered and covering the floors.
You're huddled upstairs over 2 of the kids. Yeah. You're down here over 2 of the kids.
Yep.
What do you say to the children as the house is shaking?
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Don't worry. We're gonna be okay. We're gonna be fine.
They take us upstairs to show us their children's rooms.
The wall completely gave way.
Yeah, it just gave away.
And both of the windows blew in.
Shattered, blew in. Yep.
But thank goodness they weren't playing in their rooms.
They weren't in their rooms. Thank God. Yeah.
Tonight, the children are now with family. A teddy bear and a small plastic guitar on their bedroom floor. Across the street, Nelson and Maria were coming home from their friend's house about 12 houses up the street. The weather was still calm, but their friend decided to drive them. As they pulled into their driveway, suddenly the tornado was on top of them.
You're just 12 houses down the road, down the street, and your friends say, we'll drive you home just to be sure?
Yes.
And they pull you in the driveway and you had no time to even get out of the car?
They had no time to get out. They huddled in the car, sitting right in the driveway, until it was over. Inside the garage, they now show me the damage to the car, the windows blown in.
We thought they were going to die down the truck.
When you look at the car, it's a miracle that you're standing here talking to me.
Yeah.
I thought, I didn't even know what it was. It's just a lot of noise, and all of a sudden, bang, bang, and it's flushed down, and I go in the back. It's terrible. Never seen anything like it.
Tonight, Florida's Governor Ron DeSantis authorizing thousands of Florida National Guard troops to respond, saying he knows that Hurricane Milton could have been even worse.
The storm was significant, but thankfully this was not the worst case scenario. The storm did weaken before landfall, and the storm surge, as initially reported, has not been as significant overall as what was observed for Hurricane Helene.
And along the Gulf Coast tonight, where the hurricane made landfall, in Venice, debris in the streets, this roof torn off this home. In Bradenton Beach, Police Chief John Cosby.
I'm going to say very close to 100% of our population evacuated. We've never had an event like this.
In Sarasota, families just now returning.
We've been through a bunch of them, and they've never been this bad.
Tonight, President Biden now calling on Congress to return to Washington immediately to pass additional funding for disaster aid and making this vow to the people of Florida.
I promise you, you have to pick up the pieces still. I want you to know we'll do everything in our power to help you put pieces back together and get all that you need.
While back in their garage, Nelson and Maria in front of that car telling me they are grateful they are here.
We're here. We survived.
And we're so glad.
So glad. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You heard that couple just telling.
Bloody hell, man. Well, there we go. That's more an even bigger look into this. I'm sorry, but who thought in the world? Who in the world thought a stadium with a fabric top would make a good storm shelter? That's a good point. But yeah, that's a look into this, and well, geez, it was pretty horrifying. I guess, yeah, that's pretty much it. Prayers with everyone affected, of course. And yeah, this with Helene. I mean, Helene, I've not even seen much of that recently. I need to. Hurricane Helene, recovery. That's what I wanted to see before. I want to sort of see like what. Oh damn! They've got a whole thing for it. I want to look more into this because it, obviously, this was devastating. The Helene one in Asheville. Oh my god, that town got absolutely annihilated. Yeah, I do want to see more of that. Obviously, this happening, I mean, I guess that's just how it is, right? You have one and the other, and that becomes the attention. But Helene was... They're both just scary. I guess Helene, just the fact that it went through the US, just the damage that it caused, went through regions that couldn't deal with it. It was just another level. But yeah, this is just shocking. But I guess this is just how people who live in these regions or just in these states... I guess it's just how it is. As shocking as it is, that's just how you get it. There's always brutal storms, and sometimes there'll be really, really bad storms and hurricanes like this. But yeah, that's this reaction, and until next time, peace.